Hi everyone. My project is actually grades 4 and 5. There was a slight little typo there, but I teach 4th and 5th grade at Jackson Independent School. I teach English and science. And the purpose of this grant that I have written for is to explore the relationship between student motivation and participation and overall student performance. My 4th grade class especially, I have 28 kids in my classroom. 20 of them are boys and 8 of them are girls. So I call them a very interesting group, and they say all the time, "What do you mean by that? What's interesting about us?" I said, "You'll understand someday." So I can see them at their desk. They talk to each other. They're fine. But when I ask them to read out loud or to answer questions or get involved in the discussion, there wasn't a lot of participation. So I started thinking about what are ways that we could get these kids more engaged and participating in all my discussions. And one thing that I noticed about both of my classes, they love to be in the spotlight, every single one of the kids. And when I started, I'm a first-year teacher, by the way, and when I got my classroom, I walked into it, and I was just amazed. I had a huge classroom. I have so much technology in my classroom, computers. But as I started teaching, and I saw my classroom, and kids were sitting all the way across the classroom, and my computers, you could hear the buzzing from the computers all day long, I noticed my classroom's kind of noisy. And I had kids who I would look at them and I'd say, "Why don't you know where we're at in the reading? What's going on?" And they'd say, "Well, I can't hear what the other person said." So I said, that's a problem. That's something that we need to fix. So far, my number one tool has been this. It's a Pop Solo microphone. It's $4 at Super Walmart. And it has worked great. As soon as I pull this out, every hand in the room goes up. I want to read. I want to talk. So they just feel very professional with this. So far, it has worked. But I started thinking, there is a way to make this more interactive. You know, it should be more than just sitting there with a microphone talking. So I started doing a little research. And so far I have found it's called a cue ball microphone system. It is a foam ball that has a microphone inside of it. And the kids can toss it back and forth to each other. It's softer than a dodgeball. It's just a little foam ball. And they can hold it up, and it's a microphone. So with my grant, I have purchased a cue ball system. I've purchased a sound bar that goes in my classroom. And I've also purchased a collaborative whiteboard. So the cue ball, it's very durable. You can pass it back and forth. You can drop it. It bounces, but it has the microphone inside. So we can get in a circle in our classroom. I can state a discussion question. Kids can toss it back and forth all day long, and their voice is just amplified all throughout my classroom. So not only are they in the spotlight, but everybody can hear what everybody else is saying, and everybody's part of the conversation. So that's the first part of my grant. The second part was the collaboration part. And I referenced a study from the New York University, the Teaching and Learning Department. And in that study, they found that students perform better overall if they're in a collaborative setting. So I said, how can I make my classroom more collaborative? We use Google Classroom all day long. I can sit there and edit every student's paper as they write it, as they go along. But I said, during my lessons, when I'm standing in front of them, how can I get to them? How can we be more collaborative? So I started doing some research again, and I found the Smart Cap board. It's a 42-inch board that you can hang right on your wall. Students put in a code on their computer, and as you're writing on the board, it shows up on their computer screen. And they can take screenshots of everything that you put, so even after you erase your board, your work still lives on. And they can take pictures of that. They can put it into their reports when they write the reports. They can send it straight to their phone. That way when they go home, they have everything you've put on the board that day. So even after it's erased, it's still there for them to see. So that's another exciting part. And hopefully with these two things that we have put into this classroom, we've already seen more participation with just this microphone. When I get my cue ball, I'm just so excited to see what's going to happen there. And the whiteboard, all studies that have been done with it so far, it has increased collaboration 100%. And I knew this was a problem, not just based on my kids not participating, but I also gave them a short survey on Google Forms. I asked them to be very honest. Like, how often do you find yourself being distracted in class? And then I asked them very simple questions. How often can you not hear a question? How often do you think that you can't talk loud enough that you can't get up in class? I was that kid in elementary school. I did not speak very loudly. So I didn't even want to get up because I knew I would hear, I can't hear her. you know? So that is the research that has guided the cue ball system. And then the collaborative one was, I just asked questions, would you feel more comfortable if you and I could work together on the board, if you could see stuff after we erase it? And that was automatic yes. Every kid said yes on that one. So that was the anecdotal data that I took from my studies and found the products to put in my grant. And anything else here? I don't think so. So are there any questions about this? Go ahead. Sure. Okay, her question was, is the cue ball battery operated and what does it connect to? It is battery operated. It has a lithium battery inside. You just plug it up, charge it overnight, and it'll last you like 18 hours, I think it is. It is connected through Bluetooth amplification system. So like your sound bar, you could hook it up through cords, but it also transmits through Bluetooth. So either one you would want to do there. The board is the Smart Kapp, K-A-P-P. And if your students have a smartphone, they can download the app and it could go straight to their phone. Or if you have Chromebooks, they can just put in the website and it'll take you straight there. It's just an amazing product. And you use regular whiteboards. You don't need any, markers. You don't need any special things. You just use regular markers. It shows up on their board.
Where I have special needs students and I collaborate a lot from classroom to classroom, is the Smart Kapp board, I don't know anything about it, is it something that would be able to be moved from one classroom to the next?
Okay. Her question was, is the SmartBoard Kapp board portable? With my grant also, I bought the portable stand on wheels because I'm also going to use it in my RTI groups. That way I can pull it straight over to my intervention table and we can work on stuff there. So yes, it is portable. Back there. This one? She asked what the name of this one. It's Pop Solo. These are at Walmart, $4. Yes. Any other questions?